All right, can we talk about how long this Playboi Carti music album rollout has been? Because there's a new stat that Kurko posted on Twitter stating that, and this was actually a couple days ago, today marks 959 days since Playboi Carti released Whole Lotta Red, the same time span that was between Die Lit and Whole Lotta Red. And we all know how long that rollout felt, but I think this time it's different. Although at the same time, he's kind of repeating the exact same thing that he once did before with delaying so much. And that the reason I feel like it's different is because we were fooled so many times with all sorts of antics, Playboi Carti affiliates. If you were with me in those times, great time, by the way. Let's all just have a moment of silence for those memories. But Auntie Ronnie Lee, random opium copycats posting like 69 days on their Instagram story, getting all these Carti subredditors worked up. Not to mention, of course, all of the leaks, including the infamous Whole Lotta Red V1, in addition to V2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. But this time it's different because we're not really getting any more leaks between the time span of Whole Lotta Red and now. And I actually have some intel on that, in that we already discussed a couple weeks ago that any girl or person in general, whatever gender you are, I guess, aliens too, that Carti meets in person has to sign an NDA because everything that goes on in his life is completely secret. They don't want any photos. They don't want anybody recording from the bathroom of any music that he's playing and or recording. And in addition to that, I've never actually talked about it, but all of the Carti verses that are sent to various rappers, because leaks in this industry are so rampant that his team actually puts security on his Dropbox files or whatever file sharing platform they use. Now, I'm sure some people got a hold of it just because we got some cyber security criminals in this bitch, but it's way more dry than a Whole Lotta Red, and that makes it feel a little bit less long, I guess, because it's almost like out of sight, out of mind. Of course, any post of Playboi Carti being seen out in the wild blows up on social media. However, if there's no more music coming out, whether it's a leak or actually released, you don't really know if you're hungry for that music. It's like if someone is waving a Twinkie in front of your head, of course you're gonna want to eat it, but if you hadn't seen one in a month, you're never gonna think, oh, let's go to the grocery store and get some Twinkies. But in regards to all the antics and associates that were giving out insider information about the release date of Whole Lotta Red, even though there has been a ton of teases by Carti and his team about new music coming soon or whatever, I think that we've all learned collectively just to not believe the dude. I mean, prior to Whole Lotta Red, he said on multiple occasions, like, I'm dropping the album in 60 days or less than 48 hours locked in. And then Iggy came out and said that's just how long he was in a coma after eating all the sour gummy worms. But at this point, with almost being another 3 years in between projects, I feel like he's almost milking it. Now, don't get my words twisted, because I think he's the biggest cow on the farm. He can milk all he wants. His udders are spewing on command. But let's be honest, I don't even really know if he has any new shit on the way like he says. Let's just review the facts, okay? On various interviews, Playboi Carti has stated that his next album is called Music, just because that's what it is. Like, no shit, bro. Like, do we really believe that this album is gonna be called Music? I mean, I know Carti's even talked about dumbing down his music and image, so maybe that actually makes sense, but I just think that he hasn't even come up with a concept just yet. Because with all of these expectations of switching up his sound and aesthetic so drastically every single project at this point because of Whole Lotta Red, that he needs to come up with something world changing, and that's a hard thing to do. And also, every time you say new shit on the way, that's like being an Uber driver texting your passenger that you're on the way. Like, no shit, that's your job. You are an artist. Of course you're making music all the time. Of course you're about to release music within the next decade at this point. But what I just find hilarious is that even with all these statements of new music coming soon and teasing the fans, all he really gives them, without even uttering one word in a caption, and this was late 2022 around Christmas, the anniversary of Whole Lotta Red, mind you, so of course he knew fans were gonna be expecting something. A picture of this random woman who allegedly is his creative director in some capacity, just rocking an Adidas sweatsuit with shoulder pads, so maybe there's a little Kanye influence in there, but it has the parental advisory explicit content on the bottom right corner, acting like he's about officially actually release any music. And then more recently, just posting a screenshot on FaceTime, again with one of his creative directors, of a new logo design for Opium. At this point, he's dropped more merch in the last 3 years than music, and confirms that I don't even think he necessarily has any music ready to drop. Yes, I know he's previewed a couple songs at recent festivals or Rolling Loud, one song of which he said that he just recorded with Filthy in the tour van. And I don't know about y'all, but like, of course there is a possibility that you can make a banger song all of a sudden in such a tight little mobile room, but don't you think as a professional musical artist he has more songs on his hard drive that he could preview? And don't get me started about this whole Mercedes-Benz Stadium email notifying all the fans who bought tickets or on the website that he was actually dropping a project before his European tour leg, but then literally less than 24 hours it was removed. Like, I'm pretty sure he just treats his entire life, or at least online persona, as a meme page. For because there is so little information about the man on a daily basis, and of course so many fans looking for said information, when he posts he knows that he can just troll everyone and they'll believe it, which is exactly what he did with Whole Lotta Red. I mean, dropping a satanic album, or demonic, or vampire, whatever you want to call it, on Christmas, the day that Jesus was born, and that he's Santa giving us a gift. Oh, and Academics being on the intro of a love song to Iggy or Brandy or whatever women he was talking about. Like, everything is a troll when you think about it. Just go through anything he creates. Even the Gollum looking dude on the Narcissist website, or him selling motorcycle helmets on a website that was allegedly fake but not actually, or we never know, even though it was actually pretty similar to the merch that he did release a year later. Oh, and then the September 13th 2021 debacle where he said he was dropping Narcissist, but then it turned out to be merch, even though he also texted his labels telling them he didn't care about clearing all the samples and just to drop the tape. Like, what the fuck is going on, for real? I can't even keep up. His lore is just too deep. But with all that being said, and I did not even mean for this to come out as a rant, but I just all of a sudden while recording the video remembered so many different contradictory things he did. It's been your boy Bobbalam signing off, just sitting here eating popcorn watching this dude troll the entire world. But for real though, let me know in the comments when you think this next album will drop. I'm not even confident in necessarily 2023. I could see next year or even the year after, because he could be like the groundhog, just go back in his hole, randomly pop his head up, and social media will start cheering again. His hype will just never go down. And unfortunately, that's just gonna make the delays between albums even longer. But make sure to like and subscribe to the Bob Gang if you with it. Peace out, cop people. Nice seeing you.